Thank you for having me take some questions that would answer what I do and how I do live my life and how it has impacted others around me who care to ask me. But I must sound a note of warning here that I'm not a medical practitioner and I do not claim to have all the knowledge, but I know that we have raw materials, especially some produce and some products that are indigenous to us that can help boost our immunity for the most part. And because I boost my immunity, it helps me a lot. And I try to live the naturalista lifestyle, as I like to call it. Yes, I wouldn't mind recalling some specific example of what people have said to me that confirms that my method work. For example, you're so ageless, you're not getting older. Why are you not getting tired? You seem to have so much energy. Your skin looks so good. You're very well put together. Look at your shape, look at your body, and all of those kind of compliments. I get them quite a lot, and I seem not to be getting to fit a certain kind of, I don't know what people dissed about. There's a kind of box that has been created that when you get to a certain age you're supposed to look somehow, feel somehow, and act somehow, but I seem not to be exhibiting such. So you want to know some very specific points. You want to know about my daily practical application and cooking techniques. Okay, what I do normally when I wake up, I try as much as possible to drink water first thing in the morning if I can. I make it a daily ritual. When I first started, I was doing it so judiciously, but because I'm somebody that practices what I preach, I drink lots of water during the day. So I don't, in all honesty, drink water every single day. But most times when I wake up and I feel kind of funny that, it's like my body is really crying for it, so I drink ordinary water. But a lot of people swear by taking warm water with lime or lemon. That because I am who I am, so I've stopped taking all those lemon and lime because I take teas during the day. So in the course of my taking teas, I do incorporate the lemon or the lime or some of that stuff. I just needed to say that now. What I would recommend on hand for daily immune support, the three herbs, I would say lemon balm, oregano, lemongrass. Now, lemongrass is readily available, so you can get it either the fresh or the dried. So those are the three that I would mention that are easy for people to relate with. Then there's the one that is called the life plant. It's also called forever living plant, and it's also called abamoda in Yoruba. Abamoda grows widely. It's not something that needs special care. So it's something that everybody can take and eat. And so I can also recommend it as one of the things to incorporate with the lemongrass, since lemon balm and oregano are not readily available. Another herb that I would recommend is efirin because it's also, widely available and it can suffice for if you can't get lemon balm. The reason why I talk about lemon balm is because if you're not lucky, efirin might not thrive where you are, but lemon balm has affinity to, survive easily. So if you can't get efirin and you're taking lemon balm, at least they're in the same family. So three that I just mentioned, efirin or lemon balm, then lemongrass, and then abamoda. You want to know how to incorporate those herbs into a morning routine for a boost rather than just in dinner. So if you want to incorporate, let's say, abamoda in the morning, depends on what you are eating. It can be eaten as it is. It's a vegetable that doesn't have an unpleasant taste, but you don't really need to take much. Let's say, for example, you are eating rice this morning, so you can take like a quarter of the leaf, medium-sized leaf, a quarter, and then you can shred it into tiny bits and sprinkle it on your, let's say, for example, rice. Or if you're eating beans, you can sprinkle it on it. I take it with anything. If it's spaghetti, if it is with noodles. Now, I wouldn't say you should eradicate a lot of the food, because I know we have convenience foods that people can't do away with. So if you have to eat noodles, make sure that you garnish it with a lot of stuff. And abamoda is one of the things that you can use in garnishing it. So you can shred a quarter of a leaf and then sprinkle on your food in the morning. If you are somebody that has affinity to taking things like pap or let's say custard, oats, something that is hot, I would also recommend a mixture, a herbal therapy mixture of dried garlic, dried ginger, dried turmeric, those three. But if you can also add stuff like, let's say, black peppercorns and some cloves, and you grind them together, it's not compulsory to you add the cloves and the dried peppercorns, but I do that in a different combination. But with turmeric, garlic, and ginger, you are good to go. And you can incorporate it in your, like your pap, like I mentioned. You can incorporate it in your any cereal that you are taking. Excuse me. But if you are somebody that loves to take tea, you can use this combination to make your tea, and it's very pleasant tasting. It's not bitter, and you can take it excuse me, as a hot tea. And if you don't like taking things very hot, you can make it while it's hot and allow it to cool down. And when it is cool, you can also take it. Do you get? And you can, if you want to take it as a cold drink, you can incorporate your ice cubes into it. And if you want to have what I call the Vuma effect and make it gin, you can boil some lemongrass. And once the lemongrass is done, you can add this garlic, ginger, and turmeric powder into the hot lemongrass tea, and then you can have it as a tea. The best way to prepare herbs actually is dependent on what you are targeting and what leaf exactly it is you're incorporating. Some necessarily have to be cooked, so it's not all that you can just take as it is. Some you need to cook it, some you need to steep it. Steeping means you just put it inside maybe like a cup, add some hot water and allow it to stand or rest for a while, maybe like 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, depending, and then you can take the liquid. And some you can take it raw. So it all depends on the exact characteristics of the herb and what you are targeting. And some you can actually take them raw, you can take them steeped, and you can take them cooked. Typical example of one that you can take raw, you can take steeped, you can take cooked is oregano, and you can also do that to efirin. You can do that to ugu, you can do that to moringa. But you also need to know that you might lose some flavor and some micronutrients depending. But I'm just saying that there are some that you necessarily have to cook anyway. So asking whether you need to add your herbs at the beginning or at the end to preserve their antioxidant properties, I just mentioned it that there are some that you should add in the beginning. Let's say, for example, you want to make pepper soup and you're an adventurous person like me, and you want to use lemongrass as a base. Maybe you're tired of the traditional pepper soup spices, and once in a while you just want to take a break and you want to take something different. You can actually cut fresh lemongrass or dried lemongrass if that's what you want to use. So if it is the dried one, you necessarily have to start cooking it for some time before you incorporate your meat, your fish, your chicken, or your protein, so to speak. And if it is fresh lemongrass, you don't really need to cook it for a long time. Immediately you put it on and it starts to boil, you can now add your protein to it, depending on the texture of how you want your protein. But if it is fish, fish doesn't take time to cook. So when you put your lemongrass on fire and it starts to boil, you can add whatever spices you want to, put in it, and then drop in your fish. And once the fish is cooked, you just put it off. But if it is for, say, something like meat, meat takes a while to cook. So I would advise that you start cooking your meat first of all. By the time your meat has gotten half cooked, you can now incorporate your lemongrass if it is fresh, and allow everything to now cook, together. And then when you put it off, you can just dish out your meat with some of the stock without necessarily taking the lemongrass. But if it is dried lemongrass you are using, and let's say meat, it takes a while. So you can actually start cooking your meat with the dried lemongrass so that it would infuse into the meat. And it takes a long time for the dried lemongrass to get done. So by the time your meat is tender and soft for you to take, the lemongrass would have also gotten cooked. So it really depends on the kind of herb that you are using, whether it is dried or if it is fresh, and what exactly the property of that herb or spice is. I also want to reiterate what has been said, that you can't take turmeric on its own. You have to incorporate like an activating substance. So very good activating substance to turmeric can be ginger, it can be black peppercorns, it can be cloves. I'll just stop here. There are others that you can find out online if you Google. Now, you need to know exactly what it is you are targeting for you to know how much of the either black peppercorns or the ginger you need to add, or the cloves. But basically what I do is to do half and half, top of my head. Like I said, I do a lot of different combinations, I do a lot of different things. So I just take what is suitable for me, and what might be suitable for me might not be suitable to someone else, and what I am looking at and I'm targeting might not be someone else's consideration. So it really depends on your own unique circumstance, your own lifestyle, and what your palate can tolerate, and what you ordinarily would like as flavors.